Hey, look, man. Me and you tonight.
Yes,
No
sir.
sack. Shout out to Sack though.
Who? Who's that?
He
Who's
got
that guy?
business.
Never
He
heard
got
of him.
business. He got business to handle, man. But y'all, welcome, man, to episode 70 of Yes, We Still Watch Wrestling. Man, Steve Dennis here. Chili is here, man. We're gonna get right into it. Ain't no need to procrastinate. We ain't got no icebreaker tonight. Ain't no need for that because we got business to handle, man. It's a big event this weekend. But first, before we get to that, Ashley, I guess you might consider this an icebreaker. I don't know. Might be an icebreaker question. I'm gonna give you a scenario. I'm gonna put you. You know how we've been watching Unreal and they give us an inside look at the WWE's writing room.
Yep.
We're gonna give Chili a seat at that table. And Triple H is at the head of that table, and Triple H looks at you and says, Braun Breaker is out with a hernia surgery. Bronson Reed tore his bicep last night. What are we to do with the vision? Is it a situation where it's done? Or is it a situation where we have Logan Paul and Austin Theory do whatever until they come back? Do we move on? Do we look to something else? Do we add members? What do we do with the vision? And what would you say?
What I would like to see them do
Mm-hmm.
is, depending on how long Braun is out, I would have Paul
Mm-hmm.
let Brock into the vision because he does
Mm.
that little side joint already with him because of their
Yeah.
past relationship. And
Yeah.
remember, Steph was like, "Yo, what's up with that?" And he's like, "Yo, it's just old friend, woo."
Yeah.
Let them go under Brock,
Mm-hmm.
and it slowly becomes Brock's stable. Braun comes back into the stable.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Braun versus Brock at Mania come next year.
Okay. I like
That's what
that.
I would do, or at one of the major PLEs.
I
And
like
Brian
that.
be like, "Yo, what the hell? Like, this is my shit." Like, you know what I
Mm.
mean? And Brock is like, "Nah, it's me." You know what I mean?
It's a
Pick me.
tricky situation. It's a tricky situation because you already done started this Gunther career killer character. So the ideal choice for SummerSlam if Brock Lesnar was to retire at SummerSlam in
That's in
Minnesota, the
Minnesota.
ideal choice, yeah, that would be Gunther. To your point, would it pay off more if it was Braun Breaker? Be the one that has a match with him first, and you know what I'm saying. If he was to retire, actually retire him. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I
like
think I think Braun would be great.
yeah.
Gunther would be great,
Mm-hmm.
but Oba Femi would be magnificent. You have
So
not had, let me go here, hear me out. You have not had a single, again, like, and Trick Williams is the future. God forbid they screw that up.
mm-hmm.
And when it's his turn, he has to be at the tippy top, like your Cody Rhodes. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's always there.
Yep.
But you do not have, like, Trick could be a replacement for your Seths and your Codys when they're gone. Get him right up at the top.
Mm-hmm.
You have not had a powerhouse. Who is Brock's replacement? Let
Outside of
alone,
Obi,
have you had a black Brock Lesnar?
never. Not even Ahmed Johnson,
Like
never.
like think about it. If they couldn't even do it with Bobby Lashley, and Twitch's own Bobby maybe didn't have the charisma to go along with it, what's needed, that aura.
Yeah.
But Oba has it all, yo. Oba
He
has it all.
They
Like,
couldn't even do
he
it with
would,
Mark Henry.
yeah.
Well, Hall of
Again,
Pain. You had Hall of Pain Mark Henry.
yeah.
Oba had you.
I would like to see Oba retire Braun. You know what I mean?
I'm with
I
you.
would like to see that.
You know, I've been on the Oba bandwagon for about 3 years now. I've been on the Oba bandwagon since he won a North American title. Like I knew but to say I expected this, I didn't expect this. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't expect him to come onto the main roster and already like I didn't expect him to be like tagged as Brock Lesnar's replacement. You know what I'm saying? I didn't expect it to be a situation because if you think about wrestling talks like for the past few months, It's been penciled in. We want Gunther versus Brock Lesnar. That's been penciled in. Oba shows up, and it's like, hold up,
Wait a
do
minute.
we still do that? Or do we go Oba versus Brock Lesnar, especially after Brock Lesnar was the one that eliminated him in the Rumble?
To me, that looks a lot more enticing. Oba versus
Yeah.
Brock than Gunther versus Brock,
Mhm.
because I feel like that gives you that master v student, the young versus, the future versus the past, or however you want to label that. I think that would be so dope. Gunther, I mean, he's already been he can continue the career killer shit,
Mhm.
but he doesn't have to retire every single person that's wrapping up. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
let him send Randy out. I think Randy's gonna be one of the people he retires.
Yeah.
Maybe a Seth on the back end or Roman.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, but he doesn't need the Brock retirement because
Nah,
how
he
do you
doesn't
top
either.
I've seen it.
Yeah. 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 He doesn't necessarily need it. And then with Gunther, you can have him. I'm not gonna say anybody, but just about anybody at a Mania match. So he could put on a great to classic match with just about anybody. I'll give you an example right now. How many people would be trusted to have a great program with Dragon Lee? And you see what he's doing right now. We would be interested to see that Dragon Lee and Gunther match next week. You know what I'm saying? That's just a prime example. Like you put him in there with anybody, just about anybody at WrestleMania, he's gonna have a great match, and depending on who it is, it might be a classic. So I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I would love for it to be open, man. We're gonna see who answered this open challenge. Brock Lesnar. They set out the open challenge last night. They put out his dates. We're gonna see who answered. It's gonna be a waiting game to see who's gonna answer. As far as division, man, like I was prepared to come on here tonight before last night and ask, should we be looking at Bronson Reed the same way we look at Braun Breaker as far as like a future world champion, stuff like that? Because I feel like Bronson Reed personally, the only thing he doesn't have is what you always talk about is the look. But Bronson Reed can talk. Bronson Reed, he knows how to turn the most basic moves and make them believable and impactful in the ring. You know what I'm saying? He knows how to sell all that stuff. Great wrestler, especially for somebody of his size, boss. So I was prepared to come on here and ask that question. And what happened last night happens. And it's like, dang. You know what I'm
I,
saying? Now they
I
down
think
to
I
two
think
members.
Bronson does have the look. I think he's someone he's not on the level of Braun Breaker, but I
Yeah.
do think he at least gets like a Mark Henry run. Like he gets his
Yeah.
title run. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think that would be a solid career in comparison for him, and I
Yeah.
think he deserves that. Um, yeah, it sucks what happened to him. That's like some freak accident shit, man. That happened
Yeah.
last night with his bicep or whatever. It's unfortunate.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, ain't much to say
It's
other than that when it comes to
It's
the
tough. You
injury.
have it, and it's even tougher because they had a chance to rebuild his momentum because you have him pin Roman Reigns and then do nothing with him after that. You know what I'm saying? And there was a chance to rebuild his momentum by having him at least have a good performance in the chamber.
He was gonna either go through one of those chambers, or he was gonna pit someone through one of those chambers at the show.
Imagine a tsunami off the pod, dog. My God.
Crazy,
My God.
freaking crazy.
Man, but wishing both of them a speedy recovery for sure, man. In regards to their injuries, man. Also, before we dive back into WWE real quick, how you feeling about Hill Swerve, man? You think they pulled the trigger on that too early? Him going back Hill, or are you cool with it?
I'm fine
For
with
the,
it. I'm
for
perfectly
those of
fine
you,
with it.
just to get context, for those of you, if you didn't watch AEW last Wednesday, go back and watch that Kenny Omega Swerve match. That was a TV banger. That was a TV classic. You know,
They
so you
put
know
on
it's
a pay
levels
per view match on TV for us.
on TV. It went overtime. So if you DVR'd it, don't worry about ending at 10. It does not end till like almost 10:30. You know what I'm saying? But they put on, like Willie just said, they put on a pay-per-view match on TV, man. At the end, he attacked Kenny Omega more. It kind of goes into it to give more context. The week before, Kenny Omega asked him, like, are you still the most dangerous man in professional wrestling? I have my doubts about that. And then He proved it to him the
Yeah, man.
following week.
Beat that man and then hit belt to ass to him afterwards to prove the point. I have
Right.
no issue with that. People and again, my thing is like I think he's more still a tweener. I'm gonna see what they do with him. I'm not a believer he's full heel. I think
Yeah.
he's gonna play the tweener role because I think that's where he's best used at.
Right.
So again, like I don't he had to make an example out of Kenny, let him know, nah, bro. Like I'm here, I'm with the shit. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
again, it continues his ascension as one of their top five superstars. You know,
Absolutely.
wrestlers in AEW.
Absolutely. And for I think sometimes he's better served as a heel. I had a feeling, I didn't know when, but I had a feeling he was gonna turn back heel when he came back and he changed his music. Normally when people change it, like somebody like as popular as him, like that would be like Trick Williams changing his music. Even though he's technically a heel right now, he's so over that he got a program with Sami Zayn and they still won't boo him. But normally when you have something like that's why they were talking about changing Seth music because they don't want the crowd singing along with his music. They want him to be hated. So typically when you have somebody that got a popular theme like that people dance to and sing along to, if you want to change their character, you switch up their music. So once he kind of like turned into a darker version of
You
his
know,
theme.
mhm.
Now go ahead. What
I
you going?
hate that they do that. I don't think like I get the whole, oh, you don't want them cheering, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
They will still boo you if you do asshole shit, man.
they will.
Like
They
they have
will.
no issue still booing you. Like they were chanting what whether Stone Cold was a heel or a face. It didn't
Yeah.
matter.
They
Like
still boo Seth. They just sung the song in the beginning.
yeah, and keep and go and get with it after that. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
don't never understood that. If you got fire theme song,
Keep it.
but the other side I think is all about just making some more money or because
Yeah.
that's all this shit is.
Even speaking of theme music, whoever changed Stephanie Bakura music need to change that back. I don't know what went into that decision making process. Cause that new theme is trash. It is trash. One last thing before we get into our chamber predictions, man. Something we've talked about, and this is the only part I wish Shaq was up here for. I'm actually gonna ask him this question again next week, but I'm gonna get your opinion now. Shaq has always said, and I can't remember what your opinions on it are, but in regards to the WWE Hall of Fame, he's always said like it ain't a real Hall of Fame because like the celebrities they got in there, stuff like that. And you had other people take shots at the Hall of Fame too. Uh, Last night, for those of you who didn't see it, not only did AJ Styles get his retirement speech, but apparently The Undertaker is the new, the guy in the NFL. I forget his name that pop up at the houses sometimes to let people know they're in the Hall of
That's the
Fame.
president of the Hall of Fame Association.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so apparently the Undertaker is that guy now for WWE. When he pops up, you know what I'm saying? You pretty much he about to tell you you're going into the Hall of Fame. And he did that last night with AJ Styles. And seeing AJ Styles emotion, I don't know whether he was because he was already emotional from the type of night it was, but seeing his emotion in his face when it was announced that he would be headlining and seeing Stephanie last year, you know what I'm saying, being very emotional behind it, stuff like that. Do you think that seeing their emotions, like, does it validate the credibility of the WWE Hall of Fame, or do you still think it's one of those things where it's kind of fugazi?
I mean, from like to be acknowledged by your peers in the professional setting is one of the highest, you know what I mean,
Absolutely.
regards you can ever want. So,
Yeah.
like for them to be acknowledged by not only your peers, but what many view now as when history continues on, they won't be talking about the NW respectfully. Like NW will have their slot in history, but a
Yeah.
large majority of wrestling history will be dictated and dependent on what WWE has done.
Yeah.
And as in another 10, 15 years from now, if the world hasn't gone to shit by then, WWE and that Hall of Fame, I think, will continue to clean up
Yeah.
its legacy from the selections it makes, and they will continue to become, I think, legitimate, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. So again, like to the point that Shaq used to make about, it's not a real one because all the celebrities. Yes, we get that. You know what I mean? I will wholly understand that, and understanding what WWE again is grown adults running around and grabbing at each other in underwear and tights and tops and bras. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? playing make believe characters.
Right.
You're gonna have the enshriners are gonna run the gamut. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like they're gonna not all be wrestlers. You're gonna have some weird, again, like reporters are in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
The owners are in the NFL Hall of Fame. Their 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 shining moment is having just purchased a team and having players win enough games and Super Bowls in order for
Yeah.
them to get put into the Hall of Fame. And I'm saying that mildly tongue in cheek, understanding there are things that they do behind the scenes with presenting rules that change the game, advocating for all that kind of shit, whatever. At the end
Yeah.
of the day, man, all they did was pay to be in the
It's kinda like the Walk of Fame, like,
yeah.
the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
It's a
But a
good
lot of
one,
people
yeah.
don't know that you gotta pay for that star, you know what I'm saying? That's not the star they just give out, like, you gotta have the money to pay for it, and gotta be willing to pay for it, or either somebody pay for it for you, you know what I mean? Same thing with the WWE Hall of Fame, like, just because I agree 100% what you said. Snoop is in there. Should he be in there? Nah, but doesn't take away the fact that Stone Cold absolutely deserves to be in there. It doesn't take away the fact that Ric Flair deserves his own statue and his
Right.
own wing. You know what I'm saying? It's hey, you got people. The guy from Kiss just came out about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and said only rock and roll should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of
Yeah.
Fame. You know what I'm saying? People gonna feel their way or whatnot, but it was dope to see that emotion from him and his family after his
I will say
announcement.
it'll never happen, but I would love to see the legitimization of a pro wrestling Hall of Fame. And it not just be a WWE. TNA has their own. I think it would be dope if one of the few times they all came together
Yep,
about something so serious,
yep,
and like the way you as a wrestling promotion would be able to get into that little association that decides you have to have been in existence for like 15 plus years or something like that. Like
yeah.
that have the catalog of wrestling history
Mm.
to pitch forth as a true contributor, you know what I mean, so to speak, in that regard.
Yeah,
I
have
think something
a
like that would be so dope.
It'd be dope and have a museum that people can visit and, you know what I'm saying, be, like you said, dedicated to all of pro wrestling, man. Pick a city. It doesn't have to be a major city. Like the Pro Football Hall of Fame is in Canton,
Yeah,
Ohio. You know what I'm saying? So now that would be dope. That would be dope. I think that'd be dope, man. Shout out to AJ Styles, man. I'm officially retired, man.
yeah, that was crazy. I still didn't believe it. I was waiting for someone to pop out.
You know what? You know when I believed it, man? When I watched some of his
Oh,
interview with
the
Stephanie.
interview,
Yeah, he was talking about like the quote he said about being a father and what his daughter had to say, and I'm like, yeah, he done. 'Kay, he ready to be a dad, you know what I'm saying? Like he understand the time that he's missed and he's accomplished everything there is in wrestling.
yeah,
There's no need to continue further, you know what I'm saying? Go be a father, man. So that's why I don't get mad at Roman when he take his breaks. Roman got 5 kids, man.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? He got 5 kids, dog. Like, I don't be mad at he's earned that time, you know what I mean? You got some people who take their family on the road, but Steph, I mean, I'm not trying to compare the 2, but at the same time, like Steph got 1 kid, you know what I'm saying, compared to somebody with 5 who's earned the right, you know what I mean? That's why I didn't get mad at Roman for his schedule or anything like that. I get it. You know what I mean? So shout out to AJ, man. Go raise your kids, man. Be a part of your kids' lives. You know what I mean? And thank you for retiring when you did because me and Willie got Undertaker as the GOAT. And I think I speak for both of us when I say we wish WrestleMania 33 was the last time we saw him in the ring, dog. That's something. As much as we love Taker, man, we felt. I to this day, I felt like I got robbed at that moment. We
yeah,
walking out that night. Me and you both were talking about all the way back to the Uber, like, yo, we literally just witnessed Undertaker's last
yeah.
match. We witnessed him leave everything in the ring, only for this fool to come back a year later, have a squash match with John Cena.
Don't get
Like,
me
come
started,
on,
man.
dog, just stay retired, man. Like, I get it, you a
Bamboozled,
perfect,
hoodwinked,
yeah.
led astray.
Right, right. But nah, let's get into chamber real quick, man. So I'm gonna actually we gonna pause, but we're gonna do this in reverse. I'm actually gonna save the women's match for last, and I'll tell you why when we get there. So we're gonna save that match for last. We're gonna start with what is gonna be the main event, the men's match. And I So for y'all that don't know, in the men's match is Jay Uso, it's LA Knight, Randy Orton, Trick Williams, Javon Evans, and Cody Rhodes. Who do you have winning that match?
Unfortunately, Cody Rhodes.
It's gonna be Cody.
Unfortunately, yeah,
It's
they
gonna be
have no
Cody. If
choice.
I thought they was gonna put Jacob in the match, but when they made the triple threat, Jacob versus Cody, I was like, nah, Jacob gonna lose, and Jacob not gonna be in it. But here's
It's
I
not
was
gonna
trying to.
be a Cody versus Drew match at Mania.
It's
There's no
not.
way. I
So
refuse
how?
to accept that.
So how? That's the $1 million question. Because according to reports, WWE is in panic mode right now because of ticket sales for Mania. So, but
Yeah, as
we've
they
heard
should.
this previous.
They
Yeah,
deserve it.
for the price, it's not. It's not. I really want to tell them like it's not because of the material. It's because of the price. You know what I'm saying? But I I don't know how because a report came out today that we could even see like a fatal 4-way or a 5 or 6 pack challenge for the W title. You know what I'm
Perfectly
saying? They
fine
talk.
with that. Give me something different.
Give me something different. They talking about throwing Sammy in there. They talking about Jacob Fatu being in there. They talking about there was another name from SmackDown. I forget, Randy Orton. But how do we get there is the $1 million question. If you're gonna have a chamber for the winner's gonna face Drew. I mean, they did it last year with Bianca Rhea, but there was a story behind that. Like, I don't know how we're gonna get there, but I'm with you. Cody's gonna win this match. If
I think
yeah,
some
if Jake,
shenanigans end up transpiring that
yeah.
motivates Drew for some reason to believe that the easiest way for him to keep his title is to let everyone else fight instead of it just being a one-on-one.
Now, I will say this: if you want to keep people interested in guessing, you have somebody else like a Randy Orton. You have Randy Orton actually win this match. And then the story becomes we as fans realistically know Cody is going to be in this match. But how do we get there? You know what I'm saying? So if you want to keep fans interested in Smack, truth be told, what we've been hoping for a wrestling show, SmackDown low key has been that. Like in a 3 hour show, SmackDown's gonna give you 7 to 8 matches along with the promo work. You know what I'm saying? They just not the difference between SmackDown and Raw is they not sending nobody out to the ring to cut a 30-minute promo. They doing like backstage promos and stuff like that. But that's how you can get people interested. But I'm with you. Cody's gonna win this match. He's gonna win this match. Intercontinental title, Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee. Does AJ Lee win the belt or did they delay it?
I'ma say Becky wins. Well, no, it's not a career match, right?
No, it's not a career match. No.
Okay, okay. I don't know why I was thinking that. If that's the case, then Becky wins. But it's through
Yeah.
shenanigans, so they
I
can
actually
run it
do.
back at Mania.
Yeah. I actually think AJ Lee is gonna win, but by disqualification of some sorts. I think Becky's gonna do something like either cost herself the match, walk out, whatever. You know what I mean? Is gonna set up part two at Mania. That's what I think.
Yeah.
They
Either
gotta have a
way,
match.
some shenanigans result in them running it back at Mania.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'd be shocked if AJ Lee just wins clean and gets the belt. Now they could run part two back at Mania and it'd be Becky Lynch chasing AJ Lee for the belt. They could do that, but I think you have more of a moment because AJ Lee not from Chicago. I don't know why they pitched that. Like she's from
Just because
Jersey.
of her husband. So
Yeah, so you don't have to have AJ Lee win the belt in Chicago. She can do it at Mania and it'll be a bigger moment. But yeah, I think AJ Lee will win, but it'd be like by disqualification or something like that. She's not gonna win the belt. I think Becky gonna walk out with the belt. The other match, I drew a blank that quick. What's the
CM Punk.
CM Punk versus Finn Balor? I
Mhm.
think we both got CM Punk. I
Yeah.
would be boy, that would be the shock of the year. That'd be the shock of probably like the last 5 years if Finn Balor was to win that title, but it's not. It's not gonna happen. They definitely setting up Finn versus Dom at Mania. That's gonna happen for sure. All right, now the women's chamber match. The reason why I saved this for last is because I don't know how you feel about it, but I honestly have no clue who's going to win this match. I really don't. I knew for sure Charlotte was going to win. Until Kiana James, shout out to Kiana James. She's very slept on as a wrestler. But until Kiana won that match, I'm like, oh shoot, like I truly don't know, like, because you could say Rhea, but Rhea and Io still got the belts, and then from the way it looks like they're gonna walk into Mania as women's tag team champions. So how does that work out? You know what I'm saying? You could say Alexa Bliss, but then what happens with her programming with her and Charlotte? You know what I'm saying? Like it's so many layers to this match. I honestly don't know who's gonna win. So if y'all for y'all that don't know, if I'm not mistaken, I want to make sure I got this right. It's Rhea Ripley, Kiana James, Raquel
Mhm,
Rodriguez, Alexa Bliss. Who the other two I'm missing? Oscar,
mhm.
and Tiffany Stratton. That's the other wild card. Do they run that back? Tiffany versus Jade. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. What you thinking, bro?
Um, Imma go Rhea. I think
Okay.
there's more food on the table with Rhea beating Jade
Hmm.
or legitimizing Jade even more by her being Rhea, and then that helping catapult her even further. But again, I don't think the crowd is gonna buy into that. So I think the story is with Rhea having both the world title and the tag title, and the, tried and true story. They're defending both. Well, she's defending both. EO feels some kind of way because she hasn't taken the defense of the tag titles as serious. She eventually ends up crashing out, kind of the inverse of Rhea and Alexa Bliss. So Rhea gets to get a dose of what she did to Alexa. Then
Mm.
EO goes on her.
So you got Io turning here.
I wouldn't mind it
Okay. Okay.
because I've been there, done that, seen Rhea heel,
Yeah.
like seen her face. Like I've seen EO heel. She was just as perfectly fine when she was in damage control. Like I had no issue with it.
If I had to pick somebody, see, here's the issue with this. Like, if you're trying to sell tickets, you can either do Rhea versus Jade, or you can do
Tiffany.
Tiffany. Tiffany would be the other one. I could see a scenario where Tiffany wins this match. The problem is their last match was kind of subpar. They is gonna have to. All right. So as much as I love Jay, and I would have no problem with her beating Rhea. The bias in me would have no problem with her beating anybody on that WrestleMania stage. But if Jay wants to change the narrative about her, she's gonna have to go out there and wrestle the match of her life. You know what I'm saying? Like she's gonna have to put on the best performance of her career. It's gonna have to be like a career trajectory. Give people hope and belief that you can actually put on matches, great matches. Like they look forward to not just seeing your look, but look forward to seeing your matches. She's gonna have to put on the match of her life. Rhea is somebody that she can. I have more confidence in her doing that with than Tiffany.
Mhm. Yeah,
So I,
I think a
I'm gonna
more
go.
enjoyable match will be Rhea and Jade, and I think more
Yeah,
people would rather see that than Tiffany and Jade. That's just me personally. Why not have
yeah.
your biggest women's wrestling star go up
Hmm.
against Jade? And again, I think Rhea loss to Jade
Hmm.
doesn't hurt Rhea at all. I don't think it
You
does
know what
much.
it'd be for you know what would you know if this was possible, it's not gonna be possible. But you know what would be fire if it was possible? That Rhea wins the chamber. She's standing at the front entrance. Jay comes out and they have a face off, and then you hear Bianca's music. And Bianca is standing in the same spot because if anybody remembers the chamber last year, the reverse happened. Bianca won the chamber. Io came out and they had a face off, and then Rhea's music played, and Rhea stood in the background like I want in. Bianca does the same thing and turns the table around on Rhea and say, "Hey, I remember what you did last year when you didn't deserve it. I want my spot now." But that would be
Yeah,
fire if it happened.
that would
And
be.
maybe it could. We don't know when Bianca's finger would be hit. That would be fire if it happened. Another scenario would be Io inserting herself into the match. And that's how you start maybe that
Yeah, the
storyline.
rift.
Dog, wouldn't it be crazy if they had a triple threat match, Io, Rhea, and Jade, and in the very beginning of the match, it starts off. You remember how it started off with DX when it gets John Cena
Yeah, the super kick. Yeah, and they
and the
just
super
like
kick.
Sean just
Yeah,
looking with that dumb face on.
right. It'd be crazy if they started it the same way where Rhea just levels Io and just stares at her real quick. Like
Nah,
that'd
that
be
would be
dope.
cool. That would be dope. I like that idea. I do
That'd
like
be
that
dope,
idea.
man.
Because yeah, EO has a right to do that. I think
She
because
does.
they did it to her. Like it was
Yeah.
me versus Bianca, and then you
Yeah.
brought your dumb ass up in the motherfucking picture because you wanted a match. You know, I thought I want a match now.
Hey, you know what? Based on that, Imma go Rhea. Imma go Rhea too, 'cause I would love to see that happen. Like, I would love to see either Bianca insert herself or like you just said, Io being like, "Look, Rhea," like, and that's how you start maybe Rhea start feeling resentment towards Io, but that's how you build that. Like, "Look, last year you inserted yourself in my match. Can you return the favor this time and give me an opportunity to?" Yeah, we gonna go Rhea. We're gonna go Rhea. You changed my mind. We're gonna go Rhea. So it's gonna be like, "Let's go Tiffany," but we'll go Rhea. It's a bet, man. Well, we gonna go ahead and get up out of here, man. Y'all make sure y'all tune into the chamber. Should be a very eventful event, and especially in Chicago. Keep in mind, I'm holding this to higher expectations. If it was one pay-per-view, I mean one PLE that I could pay for to go to this year, it would have been this chamber because the simple fact that it's in Chicago and it's in the United Center. Normally they have it at the other arena in Chicago. This their first time being in the United Center in years. They normally put on great pay-per-views or PLEs when they in Chicago, because you know Chicago gonna hold them to a certain standard.
Yeah,
So this should be a good one. Last year's Elimination Chamber was fire, probably the best PLE of the year. I'm expecting like the same thing with this chamber, especially with them trying to sell us tickets to Mania. So we gonna see. But man, make sure y'all like and subscribe to the content. We on Instagram, we on YouTube, we on Facebook, we on TikTok, so we on Spotify. Man, make sure y'all converse with us, man, conversate with us, debate with us, man. But in the meantime, y'all be blessed. Let's talk about Chamber after Saturday and enjoy y'all week, man. Love y'all.
peace.